Well, I made it to my parking spot. Foot travel from here on. So I'm just a little bit nervous, just because I didn't board up the cabin windows last time I left, because I planned on being right back here. Last time I left, I thought I'd be back like in a couple days, but then we had an early spring, so I was able to start the new off-grid cabin build. So I haven't been here for a little over 2 months, and this is thick bear country, so hopefully we don't have any problems. Oh, there it is. Still there. No windows broke from what I can tell. Sweet, I think we're good. Good deal. Everything's just how I left it. It's always sad to leave the log cabin, but hopefully I'm back soon. But I'll definitely be spending a lot of time out here this winter. All right, guys, I already made one trip to the car this morning, but I got some other tools and stuff that I wanted to bring back, stuff that I need at the new off-grid cabin. But there's a Boundary Waters Wilderness access point about 6 miles from here. So when I got into the nearest town last night, I picked up a permit to head in there. So I'm gonna go spend 3 days alone in the wilderness. I'm gonna do about a 30-40 mile loop. There's a couple different routes I can take in there. We'll just kind of see how I'm feeling and how things are going. But yeah, this cabin's 6 miles from the entry point as the crow flies. It's about 15 miles by road. But that's why that's why I'm up here, and have the log cabin up here, is because this is a beautiful area and it's a stone's throw away from the Boundary Waters. So, but for whatever reason, I haven't ever made time to go into this access point. But it's the closest one to me. I could honestly, if I didn't have to carry the kayak, I probably would just hike right to the access point, but obviously I need the kayak. So we're just gonna drive it over there, but should be a fun time. Be 3 days solo wilderness trip. So this is my trail here in the summertime, which if you guys have seen me here in the wintertime a lot, but it looks a lot different in the summer. It's really thick. When I'm here a lot during the summers, this packs down really good, but I haven't been here in a while, so it's pretty overgrown, pretty thick. You can almost lose it sometime, but I know where it's at. I've been up and down this thing a million times. And I have these orange flags hanging up every once in a while, because every once in a while I come in at nighttime or something, early in the morning, and you can kind of get off course a little bit when it's pitch black, so the orange tape helps a lot. Because as you can see, you get to a lot of spots like this where it's really thick, and if you don't know the trail, you'll get lost. All right, we made it. I'll be the only one in here. Well, we start off with a 3/4 of a mile portage before we get to the river. Hopefully the trail stays this wide. That'd be cool, but I doubt it will. But yeah, we should be there in about less than 10 minutes. Well, you can see how low the river is here. Pretty low. Hopefully this goes well. The nice thing is there's hardly any current here, so it'll be an easy paddle back in a couple days. But we're gonna wind our way up into the wilderness. Let's do it. Throw on my PFD and we're out of here. The river is low. I've been dragging a little bit, but I'll try to be a little quiet and hopefully we can see a moose or a bear or something cool. All right, here's the first portage on the river. Maybe we'll go up and scout her out first. I'm assuming this one's here because I think it gets pretty rocky, and I think there's 3 of these before we get to the lake. And I'm told that they're all wrong on the map. Well, it's fairly level, but there's a lot of ankle breakers here. Well, there's the end of portage number 1. I think there's 2 more. Well, there's normally 2 more. I might have to get out and carry a little, a few extra times since the river's low, but we'll see. My stuff is like right up here, and this is what we portaged around. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it. This here is a little aftermarket accessory I installed on the old Sun Dolphin here. Yeah, I kind of got to pick up the pace a little bit if I'm going to make it to where I want to today. I spent like a half an hour reconnoitering my pack back at the access point, kind of laying it out the way I want, but this is kind of the most time-consuming, challenging part of the journey here, and then we start getting out into some bigger water, and that's pretty straightforward, just a lot of paddling. There's some really fresh bear poop right here. And when I pulled up, I heard something crashing in the woods. I didn't know if it was just my imagination, but I could have very well scared that bear off. All right, well, I cured my pack since I was coming up to do a little scouting. Never did run into a bear. But yeah, that like I said, I heard something kind of crash. I didn't know, might not have been the bear. I don't know. It could have been though. But it smells like death back by that portage, like rotting flesh. So I don't know if it killed something or what around there. I'm telling you though, man, that's pretty fresh. I just saw a beaver come up on shore here. There goes a beaver right there. They're everywhere. They're all around me. It's a big old boy too. Now I'm chasing him. He's heading upriver. There he goes. Coming up on a beaver dam here. So this is gonna be my last portage before the big lake. Might get soggy feet on this one. We're going that way. Well, I tried going this way, but my feet got glued in the mud. So I turned around and I'm gonna put in here and then we'll just paddle around. Looks like it should be okay. Yeah, on the map, this looks like a wide part of the river, but, which I'm sure it is when it's not this low. But yeah, I was not expecting this here. Looks like there's a dam right there too, that we're gonna have to go up and over. Or maybe around it. Hey, cool, we can go around. Well, it's been a lot of this terrain for a while. I came from way back there, but it looks like up here it opens up into the lake. Actually, this is supposed to tee into another river and then head into the lake, so we'll see. Here's a campsite that's open. You have to camp at designated campsites. Anyways, here's what a campsite kind of looks like. Some are better than others. This one's actually pretty nice. That's a nice tent pad. All right, well, I'm departing this camp and I'm heading all the way across the lake that way and then to the next lake and then all the way across that lake too. Here's those rapids. I don't want to run them in the kayak because it's pretty tippy the way I have my bag on there, you know. Otherwise I'd be all over that, but I don't want to risk flipping the kayak with the camera gear in it, then you guys wouldn't be able to see this video. All right, guys, well, I got my campsite. I made it all the way where I wanted to today, which is good. And it's not even 6 yet, so I got some time to kind of hang out and get set up. I was hoping this one would be open. If not, I was gonna have to paddle a lot farther. But pretty nice spot here. Beautiful cedar trees. Nice campfire area here, but we can't use it because there's a fire ban going on right now because it's been so dry. You know, there's fires going on in Canada, Minnesota. So we can't do any campfires here, which is all right. I brought the cook stove, but I'm pretty hungry, so I'm gonna whip up some ramen. Thought about having dinner right here tonight, but there's not really a good place to sit, so we'll go to the other side of the island. Well, it's about 9 o'clock, and I think I'm gonna turn in for the night. Tomorrow I'm heading out that way. Man, I slept like a rock last night. Went to bed at like 10, and next thing I knew it was 8 a.m. So I'm gonna go retrieve the food bag, and first things first, we'll get some coffee going. Should be enough. Starting to come alive. It's good too, because I need it. Pretty good Joe. Might make like 4 pots this morning. Be like a little cokehead paddling around out here. So since I'm in the Boundary Waters, it's only fitting that I read this book here about Dorothy Moulter, the root beer lady, and pretty cool story. She's kind of, I'd say, somewhat similar to Dick Proenneke, the female version of that. Everybody in Minnesota knows about her, but for those of you that don't, look her up. Pretty fascinating story, real tough lady. She lived on an island up in the Boundary Waters. She was the last resident before it became the wilderness area. Actually, I think it was a wilderness area, and she was still living there, and they were trying to kick her out, but she wouldn't leave. But she lived on an island by herself, had a little resort there for a while, but ended up staying out there until she died. But pretty impressive, you know, totally off-grid, you know, way out there. So pretty cool. I recommend this book. A lot of her journals are in here. You can learn. There's a lot of stuff that I learned about her in here. But if not, look her up. Pretty cool lady. Look at these guys, man. They could pull a tuber. Heading down to the Yak here to go dip my water bottles into the lake so I can come back and boil them so we got safe drinking water for the day. Alright guys, well, I wrapped up breakfast. It was some sad looking pancakes, but it was food anyways. But I just boiled up some water in my pots and have them in the lake right now. I'm going to let them cool off before I fill them in my plastic bottles. But once those are cooled down, I'll fill them up, fill up my plastic bottles, and then we'll go on our adventure for the day. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this camp here because I kind of like it. And the journey I'm going to do today is about the same distance I traveled on the way in here yesterday. But I think it's kind of nice having camp already set up. And I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make that loop no problem, especially without the load of, of my gear, and make it back here by evening. And then it'll be nice pulling in and just having camp set up already, I was originally going to just camp up or pack up and then go around, do this loop, but then I probably would have ended up somewhere back in here anyways on this lake, or at least this part of the my area. So it's like, why not just keep camp set up, and then when I roll into camp here, we'll have camp already set up, and that'll be nice. So I can just come in and cook dinner and relax. So I think that's going to be the plan. And we're off. I am heading up around this corner. My island campsite is right there. And we're paddling right into the wind going this way, but we should have it in our favor on the way back. Lots of really cool cliffs on this lake. Just caught myself a little snake northern. I'm gonna throw them back though. I'm pretty confident that we'll get into the walleyes at some point here. But if it was later in the day, I'd keep them for dinner. I'm making really good time. I'll be back at my campsite in probably, I don't know, maybe an hour or so. A couple hours maybe. So my camp is right up in there. I'm fishing right over here. No luck yet. I want to go fish for walleyes, but it's too windy on the other side of the island. There's whitecaps out on the lake, so. I think we're gonna head back to camp and then just fish from shore around the island. Well, the wind died down. It's actually a pretty nice night. It's pretty hazy, as you can see, because there's a lot of fires going on in Canada, and then there's actually a fire going on in the Boundary Waters, not all that far from here. Been hearing their planes and helicopters going every once in a while. Well, I slept like a rock again. I'm heading over to get the food bag and gonna whip up some coffee quick, and then we're gonna get out of Dodge, start making the journey back. The wind was howling pretty good at about 5 a.m. But now it's kind of died down some, so I want to get out of here. Because if it's like yesterday, the wind shifted, so I would have been paddling right into that, and that would have not been very fun. So as long as the weather's nice right now, I want to get moving. So I'm gonna get some coffee going and then just get out of here. Yeah, I knew I should have kept that pike yesterday. I was like, you know what, I should keep this, but I was confident that I'd catch walleyes around camp here, or at least something, but then the wind chased me off the lake, so I couldn't really fish. You know, it's pretty hard to fish out of a kayak when it's windy like that. You're getting blown all over, waves, and just kind of sketchy, and just, you're better off just kind of hanging out at camp and waiting for the wind to die down. But I tried fishing around shore all night last night. Nothing. So I don't have any breakfast today. I could make pancakes, but I don't really feel like it. I'll just, I got a good thermos of coffee here, so that'll tie me over. Should be back. It's about 7:30 right now, so we're gonna be out of here in about 15 minutes, but I think I'll be back to my vehicle by about 2, I'd say. I think is pretty realistic. Maybe a little bit before. It's about 13 miles from here, so we'll see. And that's because I'm not going to go too hard, you know. If it was just a straight shot, you know, I could, I'd be there in no time, but there's already a little bit of a breeze and it's not really in my favor right now. And then the portages take time, you know, it's getting out and unloading, carrying over. It's not that bad, but it does slow you down a little bit compared to if you could just paddle, you know. Say goodbye to camp. That was a nice campsite. Lots of nice cliffs to sit out on. Too bad that fire's going on, so the sky is hazy. You couldn't really get a good sunset or sunrise, or really see the stars. But that's all right, it was still beautiful. And we have to head up around the bend way up there. And then there's another big bend, and then some rapids, and then another lake, and then a river, and then we get to our river. And then we paddle that river back. Should be fun, let's hit her. I love these pretty cliffs. Okay, well we made it pretty much across the big part of the lake here. I gotta go around this corner, then there's those rapids, then I gotta go up on that rock and portage. I did have a wind the whole time coming across this lake, just heading straight into it, but now I'm on this part of the lake, so it's a little more calm. we're gonna be heading up the river here into the next lake. But this looks like a good spot to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't run these on the way in. I actually portaged on that side over there. And the river's so low right now. If it was higher, you can see right here, you get hung up on these rocks. They're just barely underneath the water. And then down here, same thing. You'd definitely be catching rocks no matter which way you went. But you can run them when the river's higher though. See, this is why the Boundary Waters is so cool to me. I mean, no, like there's not many places in the world where you can paddle for miles on rivers and lakes and never see anybody, you know, and just be surrounded by wilderness. It's pretty cool. Makes you feel alive. But yeah, it's pretty fun doing this by yourself. You know, there's kind of a different feel to it when you're alone. You know, then you're totally reliant upon yourself, you know, to navigate, to solve problems if they arise, you know. It's kind of a little more exciting, you know, it makes you feel alive a little more, kind of a different feel to it. So that's kind of why I like doing these solo wilderness things, even though some people probably think it's a little weird, like why would you want to go there by yourself? Wow, it's like, it makes you feel alive, man. You gotta figure it out, you know. There's nobody here to help you but yourself, so it's kind of makes you feel a little more alive, right? It's a little choppy out here right now. Not too bad, but enough where I got a little bit of water coming in the Yak. But I just need to get up to this peninsula here, and then I got to go across another big chunk, but then I'll be on the rivers and the wind won't be too much of an issue. And this isn't bad, but it's starting to get a couple caps out here. Got a little loon friend. Well, we're back on this river, and I'm going against the current, and then this leads to the river I came in on. Signal, mirrors, yield. All right, we're clear. We'll clear the intersection. Now we're on to this little guy. Yeah, it's pretty grassy on this stretch. Then we get up in here and just start winding our way through the wilderness back to the car. This is a really fun river to travel, just because you never know what's around the next bend. Alright, we made it across this beaver dam. We're getting closer with every stroke. I think we're on the home stretch here, guys. Yep, we're almost there. Oh man, let's not have a wreck on the last 10 feet. There it is. We made her. Let's head on out of here. Gonna finish strong. Cars, I think the car is just right up on top of this hill. Yeah, it is. Oh, we made her. Yeah. Yeah, on the way in here, down these goat paths, I hit a bump and it knocked this thing loose, so it's hanging there. I'm gonna have to wire this up, fix it when I get home. That's why I like driving a crappy car though, because when something like this happens, it's just kind of like, well, what do you do? Brake. Well guys, that was a fun trip. Feels good to go on an adventure like that, you know, overcome a challenge. It's the best kind of therapy. I got a couple more of these planned. I want to do one with Sierra and Skeeter in the canoe, and then I'm still planning on doing that solo one this fall. So thanks for coming on this adventure with me, and I'm heading back to the homestead. We'll see you guys on the next video.